What's good? It's your man Marq Divine in the place to be with GFG TV.
And we are back again, season 8 GFG TV. We appreciate you sitting down with us. We thank you for your time.
Appreciate y'all, man. Love. Thank you.
So we get to learn a little bit more about you today. First off, you got a discography that is, it just goes all the way back. I see some in here 2005, maybe a little prior than that.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk a little bit more about you. What got you into making music?
So I didn't get into music until I was around 12 or 13, but my mom and them were DJs though. Like my uncle Wendell was a DJ, and then he taught my mom and them how to do the DJ and stuff. So my mom and my other uncle got into the DJ heavy, and then they started doing it in their neighborhoods. And what was interesting about that was they were ones that would break records. So breaking records is like finding songs that become hits on the radio. So they would by ear know what sounded good and play them at these house parties, and then they would end up catching wind, and then months later they would be the big hits that, would be on the radio that people would hear, you know what I'm saying? So I thought that was very fascinating, and my mom and them to already kind of know that, that
got you into the vibe of the music scene.
Yeah, and I grew up around that, with my mom and them listening to blues and stuff, Bobby Blue Band, B.B. King, all that stuff. My grandmother and all them was playing that. So it's always been in me, man.
DJs are well known for having a depth of knowledge in music that most people would never know,
Right.
That's your line of work is having that knowledge. That's really cool, having that raised up. So what brought you transition from that to, let's say, I'm going to record my first song, or I just wrote my first song?
So it's been so long ago, but going back to when I was like 12 or 13, I was living in Iowa City. So I'm originally from the Quad Cities, Rock Island, Illinois. That's where I first got immersed in the music, growing up as a little man. And when I got to Iowa City, I had met a friend of mine, and he go by Chris Oman. That's what he go by now. But back then he was GC. Back then I think I was Saint G. You go through all your different names and stuff. And so when we linked up, we lived in the same housing projects, which is Town and Campus. So that was like a big area back then where it was like, low income type style, whatever. So we linked, and me and him started making music together, and we would just find these random guys in the city that had studios. Mind you, we didn't really know about a full studio, but we would just meet these people, or we have guys that would introduce us, or like my mom and then would have her friends introduce us to other people that would take us to these little studios and we can record. Another way was UAY. So UAY is like a youth program down there. And back then they used to have the studio where you can go in with the cassette tapes and you would just record your stuff there. And so that's how we were getting into the habit of making freestyle songs, right? It wasn't nothing written yet. Backtracking a little bit, when it came to me and Chris making music, we one day ran into this dude, and he it's funny, he just got out the joint. I swear dude did like 30 years in the joint. It was crazy. I don't remember how we got connected with this man, but he was like, I have a studio. And we went to his trailer, and he had all these instruments and keyboards and beat machines, like things I ain't never seen, things bro ain't never seen. And we got to record with him, and he was like, you only got one day to record as much as you can record. So we recorded literally like a whole tape, side A, side B of songs, like just freestyles, you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
And we trying to put them in a song format, whatever we knew then was a song format, we did that. The one song that I can remember specifically we had was called Soldiers. So I think we might have been influenced by Master P and them back then, you know what I'm saying?
What year you think all this was going on?
This was, man, that was probably 97, 98.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
Yeah, man, like that was way back, bro. And mind you, nobody that I knew in Iowa City was making music, you know what I'm saying? But when me and bro clicked up, we were doing it. So we did the whole side A, side B, and it was a well put together tape, you know what I mean? Because we were so passionate about it. And we had the fiends taking our tape, bro. Like my mom would have my tape and play it, and next morning she would have to go down the block to get my tape, because motherfuckers would steal our shit, you know what I'm saying?
Get my tape.
Yeah, like real shit. And it's crazy how that worked, but that let us know that we had a sound, you know what I mean? We were passionate. We weren't just putting things on record to be, recording. That's just how it turned out, man. So from there, we just kept making music, you know what I mean?
So do you think that hustle led into you making Lyrical Imbalance in 2005?
Yes. I would say by then I was already recording heavy. Like it was just, once I got a taste of recording and hearing my sound on tape, back then cassette tapes, we was trying to find studios. UAY was a place that I was trying to book all the time. And then before I knew anything about, taking your music with you, right? The master situation. So when I leave UAY, I gotta have my record, bro. I gotta have my voice, whether we did a freestyle or not, because you never know when you getting back in there. And I didn't trust, not UAY, but I didn't trust the music being there when I got back. So I knew, let me go ahead and get me a cassette tape. When I come into the studio, I know that I'm leaving with my music, with my words, with my sounds. That just kept me, that energy that keep going, keep doing what you're doing. And it became then a passion, heavy.
So you said that was like in the late 90s.
Yes.
Do you recall how much was studio time back then, do you think?
So UAY was free.
Okay.
You just had to book.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So long as you let them know that you want to get in there on a particular date, you can get in there and get your music done.
Okay.
The thing about it is, beats and all that was, like I said, man, beats and stuff was so unheard of. It's like whatever you can get on, So the thing was, when you get in there, you got a sound, make sure you put it down and lead with something. That's the main thing that I was focused on, you know what I mean? I want to lead with my music, man. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was doing it. So then that led up to Lyrical Imbalance. By that time, I done rapped with tons of artists, different rappers or whatever, in the area. And Lyrical Imbalance was probably my first opportunity to be in a studio by myself and work how I want to work. You know what I'm saying? I think I had a producer back then or engineer or whatever that was kind of mixing my music.
And had the technology transitioned a bit between those two times? Still on cassette at that time?
So that was CD. That it changed to CD by then. When I was doing the music with the tapes and stuff, the recording method there was UAY was like a high-end style, and then it would be all the way to, I remember I had another homie of mine, he had a Casio cassette player, right? And it was weird, it had no microphone jack or anything, but if you push record and play at the same time, you could record your music. Like you could say words over the radio and it would capture it on tape. So like that was unique. That was like our way of getting tracks done too, you know what I'm saying? And that was with a whole different era of guys that I was rocking with, you know what I mean? It just so happened that that was available at the time, and that was amazing to me too, because we can never figure out how that, laid down on wax, you know what I'm saying? Lyrical Imbalance, CDs. I didn't really know much about CDs. We just knew that's what the times changed to, and that's how we did it, you know what I mean? Laying your songs down on CD, So
right after that, you go Lyrical Imbalance 2005, and then you backed it up with Katrina Mixtape 2006.
Yes.
Throughout that process of creating and you getting in the groove here, because you see a lot of work coming up after that.
Yes.
Where was your mindset going into Katrina Mixtape?
That would have been, so I was in college then. I think I was at Kirkwood at that time, Kirkwood and Cedar Rapids. That was a heavy time for me. I was going through a lot at that time though. Like it wasn't easy to make the music that I was making at that time. Real life was in the way, heavy. So I had another homeboy of mine, he went by 6'5", and he was cold too. He's from Chicago. He had moved down here, and we clicked up, and me and him was on the Katrina mixtapes. And at this point in time, man, I was super, super heavy, and the mixtape era was huge, you know what I'm saying? Once again, I didn't have a producer. I didn't have anybody making me beats, so I'm rapping on all the hottest joints from, man, I can't even think off the head right now. Down south to East Coast to P Beats to West Coast, anything that I can get on, I was just trying to make records. And so when me and him clicked up, I happened at that time to have a little program called Kinetic, which was like a little recording program. We had Fruity Loops as well. And we were recording our songs on that. That was two different DAW programs. And so Kinetic was a little different because it had a little bit more access to beats Like you could make your own beats on there, but I didn't like the way that the sounds were. They just sounded weak. So I didn't really mess with it. We just used it strictly for recording voice. And then Fruity Loops was all beats, but you can combine the two and put them together to make your records. So we were doing it that way. And then, like I said, all the beats that I was trying to get on at the time, we were just knocking every song down. The hottest song that was out, we was trying to get on that. We were just really believing that we can get in the game at that time. For me, I thought I was on my way to that, you know what I'm saying? And
that time too was very big for mixtapes.
Yes.
People were popping off mixtapes.
Oh man, it was heavy. So in my area, you know, Iowa City is interesting. Cedar Rapids is interesting because we're the melting pot in the entire country. You get your influences from all different areas. And at the same time, you can get trapped in there in the sense of like, you only know what you know in that area. So as I was telling bro earlier, like I like to think outside the box with my music. I really wanted to reach these areas I never reached. So that's the music that I was trying to make. Because I knew locally I wasn't going, you know what I mean? You ain't going to really get heard. I mean, people going to know you, but they know you from local. That's as far as it goes. And I don't know where I learned that from, but I just knew that the way that I thought and the way that I made my music, I was thinking when I put it on the internet or whatever at that time, it's going to reach way out. It's going to reach whoever that don't know me, and that's the goal. You know what I'm saying? So that's the passion. The passion. Everybody I knew around me was like, yeah, bro, we need to get in the booth. We in my apartment at that time. I remember we were doing so many tracks, bro. The hard drive was heating, like overheating, you know. And so it's funny. So we recording our records. You would hear the fan in the background. You know how you overrun your computer too much and you start hearing that sound. Yeah, that's kind of what that was. So that was my mentality of like how hard we grinded on mixtapes. Like we was on it. And then that was when the hurricane was out, the Katrina hurricane.
Yeah.
So we tried to be snazzy with the name too, like, oh, maybe we'll get heard because of the Katrina mixtape, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how we did that.
Nice.
Tell us a little bit about Kid Philosophy and the Miserables album 1 and 2.
Okay. Yeah, so shout out my man Kid Philosophy. He doesn't go by that now. He doesn't have a rap name now, but that was a good friend of mine that I met through another dude that I used to rap with. So it's crazy how you connect all the dots. But Kid Philosophy, me and him clicked up, and he's a very intelligent dude, man, and he was doing a lot of producing, like making beats, and he was awesome. He sounded like Mac Miller. He had the Mac Miller sound. So me and him clicked up, and he knew that I did music, and we were like, man, we should do an album. So, you know, we go back to the titles, and I thought of Les Miserables, which is that, you know, that play, yeah. So changed it to the Miserables, right? So we stuck with that name, and we did a record called Divine Philosophy. That was probably our best record or album that we made, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, straight raw hip hop, man, boom bap. That's the type of energy that he came with, and that's why I liked him so much, because he was outside the box as well. He didn't think locally. Yeah, okay. yeah. So, and he was a very laid back dude, humble dude. He wasn't really trying to get on stage and do all of that. But we got in the booth, he'll have the beats, or if we didn't have beats, we'll find beats, back to that same method. And at that time we was rhyming on like Pete Rock and Ninth Wonder beats and, you know, all those dudes. Now I'm expanding my mind in the producer game because it's different, you know what I'm saying, from what I was doing Lyrical Imbalance. Now I'm like trying to find these big names and like their underground beats. I wasn't really on like, let me do the hottest track that's in the radio at that time. I'm really trying to dig underground and like, okay, I know ain't nobody in Iowa ever heard this Pete Rock record. Let me go ahead and get on this. And that was another way that we created our unique sound, because we didn't have any producers on hand. And I've always stuck with that method. If I get on a record that that is known or that isn't known, that's the energy I'm trying to create. I'm trying to paint my own picture, if that makes sense. Because you can easily get caught up in that mainstream sound and try to find the hottest beat, but then 1,000 people in the world have made this song. You know what I mean? They done jumped on that. Let me do something with that producer, but one of his underground mixtapes that he never put out. You know what I mean? So if that clears up the question a little bit.
And who's Bill 1000? You know what I'm saying? Seems like you done Bill 1000, got a couple projects off.
Yeah, shout out to homie Thou, man. So Bill 1000 is an artist that I linked up with. He's from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, you know what I'm saying? And he came up through his squad, the Lynchmen. There's a couple of guys that he rocked with, and I met him, I guess indirectly as we grew. When I was living in Cedar Rapids, I didn't really know he rhymed at that time. I was rapping. He was as well, but we never really crossed paths. But then he ended up moving up to Iowa City some years later, and I found out he lived down the street from me. And so we clicked up and started making music. And then once again, I had that fuel again. We started, me and him, he's kind of the same like me. He liked making records. We just keep getting in the booth, making songs. And we came up with Fuck Business is Personal, FBIP. And then that was on the MacBook. This was 2012. And that was a heavy run too, man. And this is when I was really producing. So we're finding beats. Once again, no producer. We're finding beats, creating our own little painting, and then I'm producing it, putting it together and like piecing it and try to create this, you know, sonic art piece, if you want to say, you know what I mean? I always value like your own creative stuff. Like I don't like to mimic people too much. Yeah. And so I'm an artist from heart, man. I've been a illustrator, I draw and all that, man. I've been doing that since like the 3rd grade. Like that's all in my family. All my cousins and them, they're artists and drawers and music people. So with FBIP, that was an example of, okay, I finally get to do what I want to do. We on the garage band now, right? Garage band is like the ooh, you know, that we know, you know what I'm saying? So
another step up.
Yeah, absolutely. So the garage band.
Technology has evolved
heavy.
Over the years. Like,
yep.
You know, you could think about music-wise. Music has been made for much longer than I'm aware. I don't have any dates to where I'm gonna try to throw something out. Not my form of knowledge. But in the past 20 years, everything has evolved so much faster than any other generation. And the fact that the artists throughout these last 20 years they've had to adapt as well, you know.
Absolutely.
So there's no stagnant. The style of music, the genres growing, you know, watching artists grow through that, and even seeing you explain, you know, from the mixtape days and you finding your voice and finding out how you want to rap and figuring it out to now taking all of that influence away and just keeping the skill and then creating your own.
Right.
And then seeing you know, people, and then you speaking about it, you know, you started at cassette, and then, you know, you're just, you know, on CD, and now you're making digital art.
Right.
Know?
Yep.
So.
Yep. And you know, that's an interesting thing to think about too, because I've been through almost all the eras as far as like you said, technology evolving and stuff, and then it goes to like the nowadays, like you said, the last 20 years. That has been huge on artists changing and being more free to make the music they want to make. It's not so confined now, which is dope. So you got all these younger guys that's making music and they just really just letting anything out. You know, they putting all types of colors out, and that is what represents true art form. You know what I mean? Not being so confined with what you're trying to do and just let it happen. You know what I mean? Now for me, being that I've been making music for 27 years, like I think a little bit differently. I'm definitely about the art. I'm definitely about the free form and all of that. But I like to really like be precision with my music, bro. Like there's reasons why you hear certain things, and I do Easter eggs in my music and this, that, and the third. Like I like to play with the listener a little bit. So if anything, we having an interview or whatever I'm blessed with, I could talk about that, man. My music is interesting. Why'd you say this? Or why was this sound here? Or why'd you do this on track 3? Or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I try to be as creative as I possibly can in the world that I'm in. I'm still in Iowa, you feel me? People will say that I'm still local, whatever you want to say, but I don't work with artists all the way in France, bro. You know what I'm saying? Through the digital world, like, and like I said, that 20 years, yeah, it's definitely has changed a lot, and I love that, you know? I love it.
So, throughout all that evolution and working with Kid Philosophy, working with Bill Thousand, you got an album that came out this year.
Yes.
With Bill Thousand, and then you also had another album that you did. Was this a solo piece, the Getaway EP?
So the Getaway is on its way. It'll be here in May. I'm dropping at the end of May. Yeah, but it's just a little EP. You know, life has gotten very, very busy for me, so I've been trying to make sure I got a nice little project together. I didn't want to overwhelm myself because nowadays we all so busy, family and all that.
Yeah.
You got to really prioritize, you know what I mean? I have my own studio, this, that, and third, but I still got to prioritize that time. So I made an EP, short and sweet, put it out there, make sure that that goes back to that precision, make sure that every song is effective, you know what I mean? And I'm not just putting records out, you know? So The Getaway, late May, that's when it's coming out. And then the one I just did with Thou.
So Mayhem and Matrimony.
Yeah, and then that's the next one.
That's coming out.
Yeah, Grace and Gunpowder.
EP. Okay.
Yeah, Grace and Gunpowder is the one we just did.
Grace and Gunpowder.
Yes, that was.
So is that late 2025?
Correct, September. Yep. So we did that. We got that album done in probably a month. We got it done in a month, and we did a whole lot of promo for it. We were trying to do something different with that, trying to build up the anticipation, the rollout as they call it now. We were trying to practice with that. Never did a rollout thing before. And that was a learning experience in itself. So that was a lot of working with content and keeping the fans engaged, you know what I'm saying? Because you can easily get lost in the sauce if you're not putting nothing out every week or every 2 weeks or whatever. So
goldfish attention with social media all the time.
Insane.
Unfortunately.
Insane, man. It's sad. Thing. Yeah, it's sad.
And you know, you have good quality content that, you know, you're going to have people that do tune in when you're around, but like you said, you know, if you're not around, it's very easy to be forgotten.
Absolutely.
So throughout that, you know, we kind of jumped over it, but you did a short film in 2020. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I got into the movie scene pretty heavy in Iowa as well. I'm trying to remember how I got into that. That's crazy. I know exactly how. Okay, so I got another young man of mine that I met. His name is Makasi Rakundo. He has a production company. He's out in LA now, but he's from Iowa City. I always used to see him and I knew he did film, and I'm like, hey bro, like, anytime you need help with things on set, let me know. I was just trying to get into a new avenue. I'm with the movie scenes and the visuals as well. I love the camera side. I have my own production company, Divine Media Group. I've been doing stuff with the camera for 10, 15 years as well. Met him. He finally gave me an opportunity. He had this movie called East of Middle West that he did in Solon. And this was like a motion, like a major picture that he brought out here. So he had a lot of different connections there. And a big production there. That was like a 21-day production, which is crazy. He did the whole movie in 21 days, which is insane. So he gave me that opportunity to be out there. Long story short, I met a couple people that did their own production on movies. I worked with them for a little while, and then at the end of their production and me helping them, I hit them with like, hey bro, I want to do my own movie. And they were like, man, if you put everything together, you got your presentation right, we'll help you with the movie. And I'm like, cool. So it took me 6 months to write The Foreigner, which is what you're speaking about. So I wrote that. That was my first time practicing screenwriting, right? Wrote that out. I mean, phenomenal screenwriting. For my first one, I gotta say, like, I'm not even trying to be funny, like, it's dope. And I studied heavy with camera angles and lighting and all that, and what makes scenes really pop and what makes scenes very, whatever you want to say, heartfelt or impactful to the audience. Emotional, correct. So I studied that heavy. Like, I was obsessed with it. It's kind of like the music, man, like the passion. I was like, whoa, I could really come out with my own movie. So they gave me the opportunity. I got everybody that I was working with on those movie sets, they were a part of my movie. Like, they all believed in my screenwriting and played a part. I had parts for all of them. Everything down to the color schemes, to the clothing that they were wearing, the angles, the locations, all that magically came together for me, bro. And it was wild, like, and I didn't pay nothing for that. Like, no, the budget was thin, bro. It might have been $100. Like, and I'm not saying because I didn't have the bread, but it was like, it just organically came together, man. They believed in me, and I put it together. And then I had my man Mike Huntington, I got to shout him out. He was the one that had his production company. Once I got all the scenes shot, I acted, I did my music part in there. I wrote the screenwrite, everything, put it together, and then he just, you know, gelled it together, and that's what came with The Foreigner. And then unfortunately the pandemic came into play, and that's what I felt like it didn't get its just due because we was all in the crib. You know what I'm saying? So I had to do the YouTube premiere at the house, and I did what I could with what I had, you know what I mean? But that was a great movie, dog. Like 10-minute film. It's just a little short film of 3 different videos put together, but I had a little bit of acting, the storyline leading up to why the songs were what they were and why they went in the order that they went, man, and that turned into a dope piece. And I ain't seen nobody top that yet out here, you know what I'm saying? And I still do the movie thing, you know what I mean? And from there, I got into acting. I've done a couple short films. I got a short film coming out pretty soon. I got one called The Bounty Hunter that I'm on. I connected with some guys from Carlisle, Iowa. What is that? GP13 Productions, that's what they call. You know what I'm saying? My boy Paul Murphy and Gavin Smith. And I met them in Iowa City, which is crazy. I jumped on, I don't know, I was looking for movie stuff and they happened to be doing a project at the time and I jumped on with them and that's when The Bounty Hunter came. That was my first like short film. I played a main role in that. They had me in a couple more films that's coming out soon and man, it's been weird. It's been a crazy whirlwind of stuff, so.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That's dope.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the feature you got with Hail Mega and then Hail Mega. And
yeah.
then tell us about Smooth G, man. How'd you meet Smooth G and that album y'all got coming?
Yeah. So Hail Mega is from SAS, from Dipset. And it's Mega and Mayhem. That's the group, SAS. And so one of my dreams was to get on a track with bro. I just like his sound and he from London and he a dicer, you know what I'm saying? He got them lyrical, you know what I'm saying, patterns and styles like me and it kind of resembled. So I was like, man, let me reach out to bro. So I hit him up on Instagram, man, and kept the rapport and kept hitting him like, yo, I want to do a track, you know what I'm saying? Nowadays, when you reach out to cats on Instagram, you got to have your shit together. Oh, yeah. You got to have your music right. Yeah. And they're not getting, even though they'll say they'll give you a feature and you pay for the feature, they're not going to get on the track if it's trash, bro. Like, that's just real talk. So I hit him up. I was like, I got a record. He was like, man, send it to me. If I like it, I'm going to jump on it. I'm like, bet. So I sent him the record. It's called Dolce Vita. And I bought the beat, made sure when I gave it to him, everything is ownership. You feel me? Let me make sure this beat is mine. You feel me? So I sent it to him. He hit me back. He's like, I like it. He was like, man, here's the price for the verse. I'm like, damn. It was high, you know what I'm saying? But then I, negotiated with him like, look, bro, this is what it is.
I learned that when a motherfucker tell you no, that's just open for negotiation.
Oh, facts, yeah. You got to learn the art of negotiation, absolutely.
Yeah, no doesn't mean take your ball and go home.
Yeah, absolutely. And the crazy thing about negotiation is most people get scared to counteract with something. Like if somebody come to you and say, like you said, if somebody say, man, I'm charging $20,000 for this car you want to buy. Most people are afraid to say, no, I can't do that, or I'm not paying that, right? But I learned that, the value's there, right? But you got to think about all the other stuff. What's behind the scenes of this $20,000 purchase that I'm making? You might buy something for 20 bands and then it fall apart the next day. You got to do your research, you know what I'm saying? So negotiation with him, I'm like, look, bro, this is what it is. Straight up. I got this though, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, cool. So I sent it to him. I was a little nervous. He overseas. I'm like, damn, this is an overseas transaction. Like, this nigga gonna get my bread? Like, am I gonna get the verse? This, that, and the third. So it took like a week. And then he sent me the verse back, bro. With the stems too, which is dope because I got to do it in my own studio and mix it down how I want. He ain't just send it with the verse and no stems, because that's important too if nobody knows about your stems. Get your stems, because then you can really create your project how you want. You know what I'm saying? And it'll ruin your album if you got a track with just a vocal on it. You know what I mean? You ain't got no room to work. So that's how that came about. And that's gonna be on The Getaway. Okay. Yes, sir.
Shout out to Hail Mega.
Yes, sir.
Album that y'all got coming together, man. How'd that all come together, and what's he like?
So Smooth, man. Shout out Smooth, man. That's my brother, man. I linked up with Smooth online. I hit him up a couple years back. He wasn't giving me no type of response, and it was cool, I just knew that I needed to get connected back to Des Moines, man. I love this city.
What made you hit him up?
Because because his music was kind of circulating through my algorithm, and I was like, bro, nice, you know what I'm saying? And I hit him up, and he didn't sound like anybody that I knew, you know what I mean? And that also intrigued me too, because like I said, I like that unique sound, and if you're a lyricist, that'll capture me right there, you know what I'm saying? So I hit him up a couple years ago, he didn't respond. I kept making music, showing that I was consistent, and then I hit him up again probably like a year or two later after that, and he finally hit me back and was like, yo, bro, and I sent him some work, and I don't know what his first reaction was of that, but he was impressed, and he was like, man, we need to do something. I'm like, bet, bro, that's exactly what I was on, because I'm like, I just want to connect with like-minded individuals, you know what I'm saying? And so we made our music. I hadn't been up to DMI yet, so I was making music in the booth and showing him my work and then sending it to him through the email. He was sending it back, and then we got a little bit more into the concept stuff, you know what I'm saying? He had a couple records he sent to me in the beginning that he wanted me to jump on, and then vice versa. I sent him like a couple joints, and yeah, from there, man, we was like, bro, we gotta do a project together. You know what I'm saying? So I had him on Grace and Gunpowder too. That was a big one for me because that was like our biggest project. And I told Thao about him. I'm like, bro, we got to get Smooth on a record, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so we got him on there, and that's on, I think, track number 6 is the record. Matter of fact, I'm going to look on the back of the hoodie.
There you go, that player.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Track list.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. Gifted Flaws. What else is that? Man, I can't even see it, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. But don't even trip. It is what it is. Niggas know. Song number 6, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we started working. We've been working ever since. And we got a little project that we working on now. So I'm excited for that.
Man, shout out to Smooth G,
yeah,
man.
Definitely.
He's a pillar in the Des Moines rap game, man.
Yeah,
Iowa rap, man. Very sharp, very polished.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Very much respected, man.
Yeah, he overall a good dude, man. You know, me and him, we converse on real life stuff. So when I come up here, man, it ain't just about music.
Yeah.
And it was something about you was talking about earlier with the business and separating that and having a real conversation, man.
Absolutely.
That's a important thing for me as well. I can meet you, we can make great music, but what you about? Who are you? Who am I? You know, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. And I feel like with that social media world and all this phone stuff, you lose that connection with people, man. So it's good to meet somebody in person, because how many cats you know potentially making music, but they ain't never met each other. Niggas got the internet, they can sit at the crib and make music and send it back, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? And that takes away a little bit from the organic feel of working with this artist in person, in the booth with him, and the energy. So when I met Smooth, I'm like, bro, I'm chatting about real life with bro. You know what I'm saying? And he around my age, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and
sir.
we have like-minded thoughts, so that's what's dope.
Man, y'all make sure y'all check out Smooth G's new
Absolutely.
album, Move Like the Wind.
Absolutely.
Produced by OG Velvet.
Yeah. And I'm on there as well. That track, User, number 2, track number 2. User, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Sir. Let's talk Benny the Butcher. How did your music come across Benny the Butcher? And you understand? What did he say about your music?
So shout out Griselda, man, and that was another one of those Instagram things. He was doing a mixtape thing at the time, and he was basically like submit your songs or submit your verse or some shit like that. And at that time, I was just like eager to get my music heard once again. I sent him a track. I can't remember what record it was. And then he hit me back and was like, yo, bro, he was like, you got a little sound, you know what I mean? And I knew he was already doing this thing. And so to hear that from him, I was like, that's enough for me to keep doing what I need to be doing. Because once again, reaching out to guys like him and these other artists that are like high level MCs, bro, if you got trash, they're not playing that shit. They're not putting you in no type of lane. They're not gonna give you no shout out. They're not even gonna respond to you. So I knew I was rolling the dice with that, you know what I mean? But I'm not gonna send them no nonsense. So when I sent him the record I sent, he sent that little hit back like, yo, and he was like, man, I want you on the tape. I didn't have the bread, so I was like, look, bro, I ain't even gonna waste your time. Like right now, I ain't even in the position to be sending you all this bread to get on a mixtape, you know what I'm saying? And plus, I've experienced that mixtape lane as well of like submitting songs to people. I just wasn't in that mind state at that time, so I didn't even really interact more with him with that, you know what I mean? But I just took that little piece of, hey, bro, you got that sound, you got some good music. I took that and ran with that, man.
Do you feel like, does your heart tell you that he actually listened to the record, or do you feel like it was like just a cookie cutter response?
No, I don't think it was a cookie cutter response, because shit, the cookie cutter response could be, I don't need to respond, nigga, seen. Yeah. Like, I seen the message, I heard your music, you not getting no type of response back.
I dig that.
So that enough right there let me know, like, from their perspective, is this nigga nice? Let me go do research. What is he doing? You know what I mean? And then hear my music and like it or not, you know? Another quick example was that as I clicked up with this cat named Mo Breeze out in New York, and shout out Mo Breeze as well. And I sent him my music. He was doing like a little radio submission on Instagram Live. So he was like, bro, send me your music. He was talking to everybody. He was like, send me your music. I'ma listen to it. But same thing, he said, if your shit is whack, I'm not playing it. And I'm like, opportunity. So I had been building rapport with bro for a minute, you know, cause I like his sound. He got that gutter sound, and the beats and stuff that he make is like, that's the type of shit I want to get on. It's just that gritty New York, like underground New York shit. I love that shit. So
Yes, sir.
I was like, yo, I'ma send this man a record, see what he think. He gave me the email, I sent it to him, and then his next little episode that he came out on this radio thing that he was playing, it was just a little live stream. He was just playing people's tracks from all over that he felt that was nice. And he played my shit. And that was the one with Hell Meg on it.
Okay.
I sent him Dolce Vita. And he was feeling that, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, shout out Marq Divine and boom, boom, boom. So all them little pieces of confirmation that you doing what you need to be doing and that you nice, I take that and run with that, you know what I'm saying? Even if I never meet these gentlemen or whatever, you know what I mean? I take them little pieces of energy and keep doing what I'm doing, you know what I mean? Because now we in our 40s and people say we old rhyming and stuff. And I'm like, bro, I've been rhyming for 27 years. It ain't even about the age at this point. It's about where your skill level is at. So,
in your opinion, why do you think that they try to put an age limit on hip hop, but no other genre? You know, country artists can tour at 70, rock and roll guys can tour at 70. Nobody's tripping.
Ozzy toured weeks before he passed.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They can drop new albums and people are going to get it, but you know, when it comes to rap, why are they
Stop treating rap like it's an Olympic sport and you got to retire or some shit.
Right. So
I don't understand that.
there is a lot of controversy behind that. So it is a young man's game in the sense of like you start real early, start real young. And then when you get into your 30s and 40s, it's like, okay, what else are you doing besides rap, right? So that's where it got a little bit more commercialized, in my opinion. And you started venturing into all these different things that are hip hop based, you know what I mean? Representations of hip hop, clothing, sports, this, that, and the third. Like all these things came into play with hip hop. And when it comes to the age, I think it's like, how creative are you at 40 years old to create a project that means something? Like, what are you talking about at 40 years old, right? Niggas can talk about kids, family, this, that, and the third. But I think that's still subjective because it doesn't matter what you're speaking about. You could talk about the past. If you're doing it well, if you're putting the words down well, it's worth hearing. If you know how to put your story together, that's what matters. So that's why I agree with you on that. Like, why are you putting an age limit on 40? If I can still make a great story, if I can tell a great story, why wouldn't you want to hear it? You know what I mean?
no matter how old I am.
It don't matter, bro. Like,
just another opinion too, hip hop is a genre that gets thrown into the "what have you done for me lately" category.
what you mean by that?
So, again, let's just reference Ozzy. He was performing music 2 weeks before he passed away that he made 50 years prior. Tell me, I mean, I'm not saying that hip hop doesn't get held in that regard because there is a lot of iconic artists, but people fall into the category of, I need to make this hit record when they may have already made it and they just do not push anything they've done prior to that day.
Right.
And again, I don't think that happens as much with the very popular, you know, to the very successful, because obviously those are hits and people are going to play those over and over again.
Absolutely.
But people can't wait for a new artist in hip hop to put out something that they are a 20-year-old artist to them say that they fell off.
I get it. So what I would say to that is, I think where where artists get confused at is if they're not, let's say they do make a big hit, even if they're not a big artist, let's say they pop, right? And once they get to that point with that particular record, they tend to try to chase that. It's like the high, man. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Once you get that first dose of whatever it is you into, you chase that. And so when it comes to all these records in the archive that could potentially be hits and they don't know because they ain't put out, that's that lack of belief because you didn't get that same reaction you did the very first time you made that record. You know what I'm saying?
That feeling. Yeah.
Right.
You can understand that.
Yeah.
You're definitely chasing a feeling because you've put so much emotion into it already.
Yes.
So you want that. You're wanting to get that feeling back because
Correct.
you've given so much.
Right.
And not a lot of people know how much people give into music.
Right.
And to one day now their music is respected more than it was prior, to where they feel that need and that connection to create that similar feeling. Yeah, not understanding that maybe they have their stairway to heaven hiding somewhere.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like for any artist, I would think you need to remind yourself, don't be so caught up on that particular emotion. You have all these different colors and emotions within you to make great music, so every hit isn't going to sound the same either. And I think that's where people miss their best music and their archives that they never put out. You know what I'm saying? They're not appreciating that particular emotion that they had, and they're afraid of how people are going to respond to it because these people responded to this particular emotion first.
Yeah.
So you got all these other ones that you're like, I don't know if they're gonna like the sadness or the happy-go-lucky or whatever it is you want to put out. So that's where you get caught up in that. And so now you 40, 45 years old and people think you ain't got it because you didn't sound like you did when you was 20. So I think that's another one. But if you pay attention, you got Pete Rock, you got DJ Premier, you got, all these different, Mobb Deep, you know what I'm saying? Prodigy, all them, they in their heavy 40s, you know what I'm saying? Eminem, 50, Snoop, all them guys are in their high level 40s, still making great music. Snoop is a great example. You know how many different eras of music he got and different tracks that he got that he probably ain't expecting to be big hits, but you can literally go through his whole discography. He got at least 1 or 2 bangers on his albums that are, that could have been something, you know what I mean? But he ain't thinking like that now. He's just trying to leave a legacy. So I'm gonna leave a long line of music. So for the next 50 to 100 years, you can go through all my eras and have something for this particular time because history repeats itself. Like I got a song for emotion for every moment out there. That's a crazy goal to have too.
So you say you're from Iowa City. Okay,
yes.
So what artists in Iowa City should people be turned on to?
Me.
You know what I'm saying?
Me? Yep, Marq Divine, man.
Marq Divine.
Absolutely. And I say that because I've been putting in work for a long time, and I'm not I'm consistent, but like I know when I bring out a project, it has to be, I won't say a certain way, it has to be right though, man, because I don't want to waste my time on just putting projects out. Like you can put a whole bunch of music out, but what's the purpose behind it, right? It ain't about the views, it ain't about the likes or none of that. I want people to gravitate towards it. So now that I'm older, I'm a little bit more seasoned with my thought process. Like I'm not gonna take a year to make an album, but I want to make sure this, pocket of music that I put out is nice, man. And in general, man, if you go to YouTube and all that, my history speaks for itself. Like I put tracks out, I put records out, I do projects. I've done so many different things within the art world, within the hip hop. Like it's no secret that I make music, you know what I mean? And if you haven't heard me, check me out, you know what I'm saying? MarqDivine, Marq Divine, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, and then in your earlier days in Iowa City, is there any Iowa City pioneer rappers or anybody that influenced you in your earlier times, or
not
anybody
really
already on the scene?
There was, but I didn't really I was a lot younger than them guys. So it could have been some dope boys that was a little older than me that was doing things, but I wasn't really rocking with them like that. I knew of them, but I wasn't in the booth with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, they were making good music at that time, but it wasn't nothing like how I was thinking at the time. You know what I mean? When I got influenced to like Pac and all them, I was thinking like that. I was trying to learn from that. Learning how to write, I learned from Pac, you know what I'm saying? Like I used to study his music and I would write his lyrics down and visually see how the lyrics were written down on paper. Okay, now I know this 16 lines is a verse, right? Then you got the little segment after that, that's the hook, whatever that is. And from there, that's how I discovered on my own how to write. And
yes, sir.
I didn't have nobody in Iowa City doing that shit, bro. Like niggas wasn't really thinking about it like that. Niggas was making good music, shit banging out the trunk, whatever you want to say. But I don't think that they were thinking like I was thinking. I knew I figured they want to get big and make it known, you know, get themselves known and shit, which they were in their own realm, but I was just on a different wave with that shit, bro. I was just like, I need to get out of this Iowa City mentality. I could easily get trapped in this shit, just rhyming for locals. Like, no, I wanna rhyme for everybody.
If you had to describe your music, the sound of your music in 3 words, what would it be?
Authenticity, motivation, and I say integrity, man. Like, one thing I learned too, I'm not gonna put no bullshit on paper. I'm not gonna talk about things I haven't done. You know, that story is few and far between, but you know, I do respect the art world. People do stretch art a little bit, as you should. It's art, right? But for the most part, I try to be as authentic as I can with my rhymes, bro. Like, I'm not gonna waste my time writing music if it don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? I want it to mean something to somebody else, but for me, when I'm writing, I want to make sure that I'm writing it and it feels good to write. And then, like I said, the motivation is, my story is very unique. Everybody got their own story, but man, I came up hard, bro. Like, my mom and them was, you know, did the best they could with raising me and stuff, me and my brothers. But like, I had to figure that shit out. My mama told me early, I can't raise a man, so you gonna have to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So I had to figure that shit out, bro. On the streets, sleeping in closets and all that crazy ass shit during my college years, like really going through shit. Money management, fucked up, not knowing what to do with all this, that, and the third. I learned all that shit, bro. So with my music, I try to give that energy to that. And where I'm at now, I'm doing great, you know what I'm saying? I work for community violence intervention in Iowa City for risk at high gun violence and stuff like that. So, you know, all these different things that I've been through lead me to this. You know, I'm taking care of my family, my boys are doing well, my sons are doing well, you know, and that's it, you know, and that's how you do it. So when it comes to my music, those 3 words.
So for the people watching this interview that's never heard your music, what song or what album would you recommend them to start with? You'd be like, hey, this is the first thing you should check out. You never heard me? Check this shit out, man. I'm
just gonna say Grace and Gunpowder, man. It's very polished. You know, put a lot of thought into it, and I think we did, you know, well with the recording process. Everything sounds good. The songs are great. The song concepts a lot. Everybody that I played it to, you know, even if I don't know them, they like it. It's an album you can play all the way through. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you check that out, Grace and Gunpowder. Marq Divine and Bill 1000. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. We appreciate you sitting down with us. Make sure that you are in tune for the Getaway EP.
Absolutely.
That's May. It's already announced. That's May.
Yes,
late
sir.
May.
Mm-hmm.
Smooth G and Marq Divine.
Coming soon.
That'll be summer, fallish. Somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. We definitely working on that.
And then All Offense.
That's in the fall.
Sometime.
Yes, sir.
So be on the lookout. Go check the links.
Mm-hmm.
Follow them on the socials. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all, man. GFTV. Much love.
I got one more question.
Yeah, all day.
Yeah, you know, whatever. I'm a foodie, y'all. I'm a foodie. I need to know. So, what is the best restaurants to hit if you're in Iowa City? You know what I'm saying?
Depends on what you want to eat, man.
I like barbecue. I like soul food. You know what I'm saying? Them are the first 2.
Well,
then number 3, where can I get a good steak?
Damn. Okay. So I would say.
I'd say Jimmy Jack's.
You a funny guy. You gonna say that's funny as hell. I like that. That was quick. I was thinking in my head, I don't really do barbecue restaurant. I don't do that shit much. So I eat the fries when I'm not doing barbecue in a restaurant. That shit's weird. But so I say a good steak, man. I think you might want to go to Pullman. Pullman's downtown. Yeah, that's a nice little eclectic spot that you can go to and get some good food at. And I think they do the steaks. And then you said soul food. Soul food.
Where the black folks eat at in Iowa City.
Oh, so Roy Sands. I'm gonna shout out Roy Sands spot. Go check out Roy Sands. Yeah, Roy Sands is down in the South District. Yeah, she definitely do it. She's from Saginaw, and she definitely bring that grit to the food. Good food, good home cooked meal. You know what I'm saying? That's what you get in there. So shout out Roy Sands, absolutely for sure. And then what was the other one you said?
Soul food, barbecue, or a steak?
Oh yeah, so barbecue. Yeah, we gonna cut that out. I don't know what to say about that.
What about a burger?
Oh, a burger? Ah, man, that's a good question on that. Man. Oh, Reds in North Liberty.
Reds and North. Liberty.
Yeah, Reds got some fire burgers, bro. And they do dollar mimosas on Sunday, so.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm a upscale nigga sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean?
Go get you some mimosas.
Absolutely, fuck it.
So I appreciate you for sitting down with GFGTV,
no doubt.
homie.
My man.